All right, I'll go ahead and give the official welcome. Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us for our virtual college exploration program for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, as well as StriveScan. So CACRAO and StriveScan, and we'd like to welcome you all for joining us today. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we go ahead and get started. You're able to use that Q&A button to ask or type your questions to the presenters at any time during the presentation. Your camera and microphone are off, so this is in webinar format. Unfortunately, we are not able to see you, but you can definitely see us. And so just as a reminder, this is just one of many college presentations that are happening throughout these few weeks. So you can check out the full schedule at cacro.org. And finally, this recording will be available for you to see later on, and that will also be at cacro.org. That's CACRAO.org. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our presenter who has a really great presentation for us today about their institution. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Eric.
Great, thank you so much. So my name is Eric Snader. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you all. There we go. So like I was saying, my name is Eric Snader. I am an admissions counselor for Randolph-Macon College, and I work with all of our transfer students. So it's absolutely wonderful to be here with you all today. I also want to let you know that I do have a colleague of mine on this call with me as well. Her name is Faith Fox, and she actually is one of our regional counselors and lives locally in the Carolinas. So we're both here to present to you about our college. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A, and Faith will be happy to answer those for you. In addition, I will have my personal contact information up at the end of this slideshow as well for you to be able to take down to reach out to me personally after the presentation is over. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So just to give you a little bit of framework for Randolph-Macon and what sort of school where we are, we have a list of these wonderful buzzwords for you to look at. So as you continue to engage with our school, whether through the course of this presentation or if you go onto our website to find out more information, you should be able to start getting kind of an idea of what all these numbers and figures and different things mean. But I do want to take a moment to highlight a few this morning just to give you a little bit of framework for what kind of school Randolph-Macon is. So the first one I would point out is over there on the right-hand side in yellow, 1830. So that's actually the date that Randolph-Macon was founded. We were founded in the small town of Boynton, Virginia, in the year 1830, and we ended up migrating northwards into Ashland, Virginia, around the late 1860s, partly to be closer to the railway system that was being built and is actually still operational to this day. The next one that I would point your attention to is the 1530. So that is our current number of enrolled students. We have 1,530 students enrolled at our campus right now. Of the students, if you just take a drop down below the 1530, that's the ratio between our students in terms of identified gender. So 53% of our students identify as female, 47% identify as male. If you navigate just up and to the right there, you'll see the 78-22. So 78% of our students are coming from in-state here in Virginia. 22% of our students are coming from out of state, from places like the Carolinas, Maryland, West Virginia, Delaware, but we also have students coming to us from international schools across the globe as well. We have a number of diverse students from diverse backgrounds and experiences. So much so that just down below there, right down in the center, is that 23 in gold. 23% of our students identify as being racially diverse. So we have a fairly diverse student body here at Randolph-Macon as well. sorry about that. Computer's running a little bit slow this morning. Just to give you a bit of a framework for location. So I mentioned that we're in the town of Ashland, Virginia. You can see there on the map of Virginia where we're somewhere in between the state capital of Richmond and the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. We're right on I-95, so it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from North and South Carolina. But in addition to that easy access that we have to places like Washington, D.C. and Richmond, it's also only a couple hours drive from Randolph-Macon to get to somewhere like Virginia Beach or get out into the Appalachian Trail on the in the Appalachian Mountains just slightly west of us. So here in Ashland, we really do have access to a variety of different landscapes, a variety of different communities that you can be engaging with and be a part of. And that's something that we're really happy that we're able to offer our students. In addition, I mentioned that we moved to Ashland to be closer to the incoming railway system. So we do have an active Amtrak station just off of our campus. It's about a block away from many of the academic buildings. In addition, we have access to a lot of really cool local businesses here in the town of Ashland. Ashland is a more rural suburb of the greater Richmond area. So we have a lot of locally small owned businesses here that a lot of our students, staff, and faculty will take their business to. We love supporting our local community. But in addition, I mentioned that we're really close to places like Washington, D.C. and Richmond. So we also are able to provide access to a lot of popular nationally recognized convenience. For instance, there's a Starbucks within walking distance from campus. Chick-fil-A, Panera are right in the town of Ashland, not to mention all the different options that you have in Richmond and Washington, D.C. as well. Another benefit to the proximity to both of these capital cities is the extracurricular experience that our students get while they're here on campus. So we're able to offer a variety of job opportunities and internships for our students in Richmond and Washington, D.C. A lot of our students are taking advantage of what's called the Washington Initiative, which is a program which connects students with Washington, D.C. in a number of ways, whether that is through class trips. We have had in the past a number of trips go up to Washington, D.C. to go to things like the annual Japanese festival or the Cherry Blossom Festival that happens in the city every year. But like I said, there's also plenty of internships, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the presentation when we talk about our Career Center. But yeah, we have all these great connections that we're able to offer students, whether you want that more metropolitan experience or if you want to be able to get away to the beach or the mountains for a weekend getaway. You have all of those opportunities at your fingertips here at Randolph-Macon. I do want to take a moment as well in this presentation to talk about our academic experience here at Randolph-Macon. So we are a small private liberal arts college. So what that means is that each and every one of our students is cross-interdisciplinary research and classes. So each of our students are, in addition to completing their their major specific courses, they're also completing a liberal arts degree. So that's something that we are really passionate about here at Randolph-Macon. We really firmly believe that it helps our students become well-rounded, not only in their area of expertise, but across the board, helping our students to really find success at all levels in their life, both academic and beyond the academic sphere. We absolutely focus on our academics here, though, to the point where we're able to offer classes that are 100% graduate assistant free. So I'm just going to go over a few primary facts and figures about our academics, but first and foremost, your classes here are going to be 100% graduate assistant free. So what that means is every single one of your classes is taught by a professor who has the degree, who has the experience, who has the expertise, who is going through and building out the class themselves specifically for you, the Randolph-Macon student. None of your classes are going to be taught by someone who's trying to get an advanced degree and just go off and get a job at another school, at another institution. Every single one of your classes is taught by a professor who is here solely for the purpose of teaching you, which really creates a great learning atmosphere. Because of our small size, we're also able to offer average class size of 16 students per class and a student to faculty ratio of 11:1. So essentially what that means is that you have a really great opportunity to not only get to know your peers really well, but you also have the opportunity to get to know those professors who are experts in their fields really, really well. A lot of our professors will hold open office hours for our students, so you can get that extra academic support that you might need. A lot of our professors also prove to be crucial advisors and supporters of our students going out into the job field, into the career field, getting internships as references on their resumes once they graduate from college. All these sorts of roles our professors are able to enter into as well with our students to really help them find success both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. In terms of the programs that we offer, we have over 40 different majors, minors, and pre-professional programs that you can choose from. We have students who are double majoring, triple majoring even at times. So you have a lot of flexibility in terms of what program you want to pursue here, and how that program will help shape whatever your future path is, whether that's entering directly into the work field, going and getting an advanced degree at the master's level or even the doctorate level, whatever that path might look like for you. Our programs and our professors are going to help you not only craft the path, but also find success on that path as well. In terms of the rhythm of our school year, we follow what's called the 4-1-4 academic calendar. So we essentially have 3 terms at Randolph-Macon. We have a 4-month fall semester, and then we also have a 4-month spring semester. But in between there, during the month of January, we have a 1-month JTerm, or January term. And students can take a variety of experiences during that JTerm month. I'm going to jump over to the next slide. So some of the things that our students can do, you can be taking an intensive course of study during JTerm, which essentially allows you to take an entire class with the entire credit load that you would get during the course of the semester, and it condenses it down to a 1-month class. So the typical schedule is you would meet every day for a couple hours every single day. After 2 weeks of that, you would take a midterm, and then you would go back into that couple hours every single day for another 2 weeks, and then you would take your final at the end of January, and you would have that class finished and done with. There are some definite positives to this. For instance, or for example, it allows students to put all of their attention and effort into that one course. It's particularly helpful for students who are either entering into a subject field that they've never taken before, or maybe this is something that you've struggled with in the past, a subject matter that you've struggled with in the past. It really allows that space for you to be able to put all of your attention and effort and detail into that class. It also provides a unique rhythm for students entering into an intensive course of study. Rather than having to juggle all of these different classes all at the same time, you're able to pretty easily schedule out your day to, this is when I'm in class, this is when I'm studying, this is when I'm in my free time. And it creates a different sort of rhythm and pace for our students, which a lot of students find helpful. I know that I found that sort of rhythm helpful when I was in college myself. The next thing that students can do is study abroad. So if you remember from the last slide, there was a stat on there that said 35% of our students are studying abroad. whereas the national average is 10%. Part of that is due to our excellent JTerm study abroad programs. So we do offer the traditional semester-long or year-long program for students, but what makes our JTerm program unique is that they are Randolph-Macon classes that are taught by Randolph-Macon professors for Randolph-Macon students. So during a traditional study abroad program, you might be one student that comes from Randolph-Macon in a cohort of 30 or 40 students from schools all across the Eastern Seaboard. And you'd be going to another country, studying at the university in that country with that university's professors, with that university's students. That's an absolutely great learning atmosphere for some people, but for others, it's not necessarily so great. So having that comfort level and that prior relationship with the people that you're studying with the people that you're studying from, while also being able to enter into that cross-cultural immersion is really helpful for a lot of our students. Our JTerm programs are also helpful for some of our student athletes who otherwise would be tied up for an entire semester with their athletic season. They get a little more flexibility in their schedule during that JTerm, so it gives them that opportunity to also study abroad as well. And these programs go all over the world, Japan, Australia. We had a group go to Kenya this past year. And I mean, even in that, we have a variety of classes, whether you're looking to get a general education credit math class done while you're studying in Japan, or if you want a higher level, more focused class for your study abroad. For instance, some of our political science majors this past year went to New Hampshire for the presidential primaries. While it's not necessarily going to another country to study, it provided them that really, really crucial experience in studying the field that they're already studying in a more heightened and highlighted way. It's just a really unique program that we're able to offer, and a lot of our students get a lot of joy and fulfillment out of our study abroad program during JTerm. The final thing, and I mentioned these kind of already, we do offer a JTerm internship. What makes our JTerm internship unique is that it's a 40-hour-a-week internship for our students. So rather than, again, splitting up your internship and juggling that with all of your classes throughout the course of a year, you're able to put all of your attention into whatever that internship might be, whatever that job might be, but it also provides you that crucial experience in kind of discerning the rhythm of what a 40-hour a week work week actually feels like. So a lot of our students have taken part in that and pointed to that as a really helpful indicator of what sorts of things that they want to be doing with their life after college, what sorts of jobs they want to be looking for, what sorts of degrees they might need. These internships are a really great learning experience for our students. And the primary way that our students get connected with those, the other job opportunities, the other shadow opportunities that we offer, is through our EDGE Career Center. So our EDGE Career Center works tirelessly to help our students prepare for life outside of the classroom. We affectionately call the EDGE the application to your education, because it's one thing to be able to excel in the classroom and do well on your tests, do well on your papers. It's another thing to be able to translate that knowledge that you're learning in the classroom and begin applying it to real life work situations, real life job situations, job interviews, crafting a resume, all that kind of stuff. So that's what our Career Center is really focused on, is providing those career development programs and resources for our students. So you can see there they offer over 155 different career development programs per year, whether that is you want to meet with an individual from the office personally in a one-on-one way, maybe get some career advice. You can also be reaching out to them to help you craft a resume. One of the things down below there, you'll see Career Boot Camp, which is another program that they put on every year. It's a weekend that they set aside and they essentially help students walk through the entire job search interview process. So they have a resume writing workshop that you can be a part of. They have mock interviews that you can participate in. They go through etiquette training, so what to wear for a job interview. If you're going to a fancy restaurant with a potential employer or with your current boss, they go through what silverware is what and how do you not embarrass yourself in front of your boss. With all these 5 different forks that you have to choose from. So they go through all that sort of stuff. They go through some of the basics, but they also go through a variety of other things that a lot of people might not think about, all in the hopes of preparing our students to be able to find success as they move out from Randolph-Macon. And it's a really great stat that we're able to share that 90% of our graduates are either employed or enrolled in a graduate level program within 6 months of graduating from RMC. So they just do an absolutely incredible job with our students. It's a free resource for all of our students. And they are so committed to helping you find success in whatever way that looks like. Another way that our students have been able to find success in the past is through connections with our alumni community. So a lot of our alumni have ended up settling in the Richmond and Washington, D.C. area. So a lot of them are still local and still actively engaged with campus. So whether that is, giving internships and job opportunities to current Randolph-Macon students, that's one way in which our alumni give back. Another way is by mentoring our students. One of the most impactful ways that our alumni continue to give back to the college is through monetary support. So our alumni group ranks number 3 in the state of Virginia and number 22 in the nation in terms of monetary support giving back to the college. If you ever get the chance to come up to Ashland and tour our campus, we are open for on-campus tours right now, but if you ever get the chance to come up, I would strongly suggest that you take a look at all the different academic buildings that we have available to our students, all the great facilities that we have available to our students. All of those buildings are paid for primarily by our alumni giving and donors. None of that is coming from tuition dollars by any means. It's all coming from people who want to give back to the college. And I think especially with our alumni, that speaks to not only the fact that they were able to find success after college, that they are able to give back monetarily, but it also points to the experience that they had on campus, the sense that this place, this community is still special to them long after they graduate, long after they move on to that next stage of life. They want to continue providing that same positive experience for future generations. So it's just an incredible stat. It's an incredible community, and we absolutely love our alumni here. I mentioned that they had a great time and a great experience on campus. So I do also want to talk about student life on our campus. We affectionately call it the YJ experience. We are the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. So in terms of what is available to do on campus, we have over 80 different clubs and organizations active on our campus. So you have a really great opportunity to engage with students who are like-minded or have similar interests to you. In addition to the student-run clubs and organizations, we have a variety of guest speakers and guests that come onto our campus that students are able to engage with as well. I know last year we had a Holocaust survivor actually come onto our campus and share their experiences with our students and staff and faculty, which was incredibly powerful to hear. So that, in addition to the student organizations that we have active on campus, you also have an ability to engage in a different level as well with guest speakers, performers who come on to perform at our campus. We have a partnership with the Richmond Symphony, so we'll often send people into Richmond to go see them perform, or they'll send people to our campus to perform in our Performing Arts Center. We do have Greek life on our campus. So we have 8 fraternities and 5 sororities, all with houses on our campus that you can participate in if you so wish. The other piece is we are a residential campus, so it is required to live on campus all 4 years here, or however many years that you will spend here on campus as a transfer student. But that being said, you have a variety of options when it comes to living on campus. So we have traditional dorm style and suite style dorms, but we also have townhouse living and apartment living on campus. Obviously, Greek life is an option for some of our students. And then we also have specialty housing or special interest housing for students on campus and around the town of Ashland as well. So you have a choice for where you live. For instance, I mentioned special interest housing. I have a student assistant who works with me here in the admissions office who is actually one of our international students, and she's actually decided to live in the international special interest house this year. So she's living with other international students who are going through a similar experience as she is. And she's found great worth in that community and living with those individuals. In addition to student organizations, we also have a vibrant school spirit, a lot of which turns out in droves to support our varsity sports teams. So we do have 18 varsity sports teams that compete at the Division III level of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. But beyond that school spirit, we also have a community of individuals who care about the local community as well and want to continue giving back, which I think is so incredible. So in 2018 and 2019, our students combined for over 23,000 service hours completed, and they raised over $48,000 for philanthropic causes. A lot of that was going back into the local community, going back into the Ashland and Richmond area, which is just such a strong testament to our students, the fact that they have such care for the community around them. It's absolutely incredible. With that being said, we are chugging along, and I do want to take some time to talk about the admissions timeline. Of course, transferring into any school can be daunting. It can be confusing at times. It can be very dependent on the school that you're applying to. So I want to go through the transfer process and the admissions timeline here at Randolph-Macon. So first off, there's 2 ways to apply at Randolph-Macon. You can either apply directly through the common application or through our website. Both links can be found here on the slideshow. Either one is fine with us. The application is free, so it doesn't cost anything to apply at Randolph-Macon. In terms of what we're looking for in the application itself, that of course depends on you, the student. One of the unique things about the transfer process is that each transfer student is different. Each of you is coming in with a different set of academic experiences. Some of you are coming in after a semester or 2 at a 4-year institution. Others of you have already gotten your associate's degree from a community college and are looking to transfer in with that. I've even had students who are coming back to school after receiving their bachelor's degree or even their master's degree at some point. So transfer students really do kind of span a large set of experiences. So with that being said, take what we're looking for with a bit of a grain of salt, because depending on where you're at in your academic experience and what you're bringing with you into the transfer process, it may change slightly. But generally what we're looking for is transcripts. For students who aren't coming in with an associate's degree, we're looking for any college transcripts that you have. So any higher education institute that you have attended and taken classes with, we'll need those transcripts. If you aren't coming in with an associate's, we'll also typically require a final high school transcript. If you are coming in with an associate's degree, that high school transcript requirement is waived. In terms of how we review applications, we do what's called holistic application review. So we're not just looking at that base cumulative GPA that you're bringing in with you. That's an important piece of the application, but we really want to get to know who you are as an individual. So for that reason, we're also looking at things like your personal statement or essay. We want to know why you're interested in transferring, what you're interested in pursuing. We want to get to know who you are. We're also looking at things like extracurricular involvement. What sorts of things do you like to do? What are your passions? Those are all really crucial aspects to the application. I did sort of skip over this, but another piece, particularly for students not coming in with a GAA or our guaranteed admissions agreement, so students not coming in with an associate's degree, we do also require test scores. So either an SAT score or an ACT score. If that is something that you want to ask more questions about, feel free to reach out to our office directly. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I work individually with each and every one of our transfer students. That's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, but especially as an admissions office here at Randolph-Macon College, we are very, very intent on providing you the most individualized care that we can. And that absolutely applies to our transfer students as well. So I am your point person for anything regarding the transfer process with Randolph-Macon. Do not hesitate to reach out to me and talk with me. You can schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. You'll see that we have an optional interview piece oftentimes with my transfer students. That ends up being just a conversation between us about the transfer process and about what that looks like for you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm more than happy to talk with you about your specific needs with the transfer process. In terms of application deadlines, fairly standard. Our spring term deadline is December 1st, and our fall term deadline for application is June 1st. So if you're looking to apply for spring 2021, that application needs to be in no later than December 1st. You will have a little bit of extra time to include those additional materials like the transcripts, anything else. If you're looking to transfer in for fall 2021, then we'll need that application no later than June 1st. Typically, once we receive the application and all those additional materials, you'll receive a decision letter from us about 2 weeks later. In terms of affordability, obviously that's something that is on everyone's mind when it comes to college. So I do want to talk about that piece as well. So for the 2019-2020 academic year, this past year, the total cost of attendance for room, board, tuition, and fees all included was $57,470. Don't worry though, that's not what most of the average Randolph-Macon students were paying. So the average net price before any loans were considered, once those financial aid packages were presented to our students, the average net price ended up being $27,497, which is around the same cost as an in-state Virginia school. Our tuition costs don't change for in-state versus out-of-state students. So for those of you in North and South Carolina, that tuition cost is not going to change for you just because you're an out-of-state student. Over 95% of our students are receiving some form of financial aid. And especially with our out-of-state students, we do provide an out-of-state grant for them, which is renewable every year, which it fluctuates from year to year, but it's similar to a state-funded grant that you would receive. Like here in Virginia, we have what's called the Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant, which is a state-funded program that goes to every Virginia resident who attends an accredited private institution in the state of Virginia. It's very similar to that, but it's something that we provide for our out-of-state students, but it fluctuates from year to year. But generally between like the $1,500, $2,000 a year per year range. In terms of financial aid, we offer a variety of merit-based scholarships and needs-based aid. So here you can see the breakdown of our merit-based scholarships and the amounts. Especially with our transfer students, it's a lot more cut and dry as to what scholarship you qualify for, because it's primarily based off of that cumulative GPA that you're bringing in with you. So you can see here students who have between a 3.0 and a 3.49 cumulative GPA are eligible for up to $20,000 per year in merit-based scholarships. Or our Dean's Award, Trustees Award goes to students between the 3.5 and 3.69 GPA range, and that's up to $21,500 a year. And then we also have our Presidential Award, which is offered to students between 3.7 and 4.0 GPA, and that's $22,500 a year. In addition, we also offer needs-based aid that's primarily based off of your FAFSA application and your FAFSA information, which can be submitted anytime now. So that information is what helps us to be able to provide you different institutional grants, different federal grants that you might qualify for, like the federal Pell Grant or anything like that. We need that FAFSA information to be able to provide that for you. But also we have a FAFSA filer incentive. So any student who files their FAFSA with us receives automatically $1,000 worth of grant money. And over 60% of our students receive some form of needs-based aid from us. If you have any further questions about financial aid, about affordability, or about anything that we've talked about in the presentation so far, my contact information will be at the end of this slideshow. So you can feel free to reach out to me directly. So in terms of, just in summary, sort of the timeline, the step-by-step process of the transfer admissions timeline. So you submit your application and you submit all of your additional materials. Once we receive that, I, as your counselor, will begin the review process. Within 2 weeks of that review process beginning, you'll receive a decision letter. Should you be accepted, you'll receive that acceptance letter with your merit-based scholarship information printed on that letter as well. And then within another 2 weeks, we'll do what's called a credit evaluation, and we'll offer you your financial aid package. One of the things I didn't mention is that Randolph-Macon does a really, really good job of transferring as many credits over to a Randolph-Macon transcript as we can. We do have a transfer equivalency guide up on our website. Ultimately, it's not a 100% like-for-like match, but it can at least give you a rough idea of what sorts of classes you can expect to transfer over. The best rule of thumb for credit transfer with us is the more generic it is, the lower level course it is, the easier it is for us to transfer over. So it's a lot easier for us to transfer over a biology 101 course than it would be for us to transfer over a 300 level interpretive dance 3 with a very specific focus on like Tchaikovsky or something like that. Those upper level, more specific courses tend to be a little more troublesome to transfer over. But just keep that in mind. Within 2 weeks of receiving that decision letter, should you be accepted, you'll get that full credit evaluation readout and your financial aid package. So you'll know exactly how many credits you'll have. You'll know exactly how much it costs, all within 3 to 4 weeks of submitting your application, typically. And then following that, it will be up to you to fill out the deposit forms. Typically, our deposit deadline is a month after the application deadline. So if you're looking to enroll for spring 2021, you apply by December 1st, and then you would deposit by January 1st. Same goes for the fall term. If you apply by June 1st, you would have a deposit deadline of July 1st. And that deposit essentially holds your spot with us, but it's also, in a way, an advance payment towards your first semester bill. So that money from the deposit will come off on your first term bill. But yeah, typically 3 to 4 weeks between submission of all your materials and getting all that information. How many credits am I getting? how much is it going to cost? How do I deposit? In terms of our office, you can see all of our wonderful faces here. So each and every one of us here at the Randolph-Macon admissions office is committed to serving you to the very best of our ability, whether you're working with me as the transfer counselor or our director of admissions, Aaron Slater, or even our Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, David Lassane. We're all here to provide you that individualized care that you need. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. As I promised, this is my contact information. The best way to reach me at this point in time is through email. I'm popping in and out of the office at irregular times. So I'm not always at my phone. You can give me a call, but the best way to reach me will be through that email address, ericsnader@rmc.edu. I also provided the link to our transfer admissions page on the slideshow as well. So be sure to go to our website to find out more information on your own. But like I said, I'm always here to help as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to chat with you. But without further ado, that brings our presentation to a close. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for taking the time to watch the presentation. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that incredibly informative presentation. I know I learned a lot about Randolph-Macon College today, and I'm sure that our participants learned a lot as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close us out for today. So I'm going to share my screen again and just give you all the closing announcement. So thank you all so much for joining us today. After you close out this window, you'll be linked to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback that y'all would be able to provide. And as a reminder, this is just one of many sessions that are happening and have happened as part of this Exploration Week. And I invite you to check out that full schedule of events at CACRAO.org. And finally, this recording will be available for you to view at a later time, also at CACRAO.org. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you to our panelists for today for your time and your presentation, and thank you to our participants. I hope that you have a wonderful day and see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.